All right, let's talk about something that so many people go through, but almost no one really talks about out loud. We're diving into the mental health side of trying to conceive. It's this deeply personal journey that, for so many, turns into a kind of hidden crisis.
So what do I mean by hidden crisis? Well, it's that silent battle that's fought every single month. It's this emotional roller coaster of hope and then heartbreak that can really seriously take a toll on your well-being. And the source for digging into for this explainer, wow, it puts it in some incredibly stark terms.
Just let that sink in for a second. Literally on the mud. This quote from our source, Precious Derek, is not holding anything back. It just immediately shows you the massive stakes here. This isn't just a physical thing, it's a profound spiritual and mental battle.
So, to even begin to navigate something this intense, the source really anchors its whole message in this piece of scripture. The core idea here is that even the pain, even the waiting, even the setbacks, it's all believed to be part of a bigger plan that's ultimately working for your good. It's presented as this foundational promise you can cling to when absolutely nothing else feels certain.
Now, the very first step our source talks about is so simple, but so important. Just acknowledge that the struggle is real. The author shares how, when she was trying to conceive, her whole life just started to shrink until it was all about that one thing. Every thought, every feeling, all about getting pregnant. Does that sound familiar at all? Yeah, that's because it is a shared reality for so many people.
And this is where the cycle kicks off, right? It always starts with that fresh wave of hope, that feeling that, okay, this month, this could be the one. It's powerful, it's exciting, and it's what fuels the whole journey.
But then, that bright hope starts to change into something else, doesn't it? It's this quiet, creeping anxiety. You know, the 2-week wait. Is it happening? Is it not? You start analyzing every tiny feeling in your body as that tension just builds and builds.
And if that hope gets dashed, well, that anxiety can just sour into straight-up anger. You get frustrated with your own body, frustrated with the whole situation, with the world. It's a really raw and tough emotion, but our source makes it so clear that it's a completely normal part of this process. And then, finally, comes that crushing weight of disappointment. The cycle ends, and you're just left there, trying to pick up the pieces, knowing that you have to somehow find the strength to do it all over again next month, starting with that same fragile little bit of hope.
Our source has a name for this that just nails it: the emotional roller coaster. And that is the perfect description, isn't it? For one person to go through that whole spectrum of intense emotions, hope, anxiety, anger, disappointment, in such a short, repeating loop is just incredibly draining.
Okay, so that's the problem. It is intense, it's exhausting, and it is very, very real. But just knowing that is only step one. So the real question is, right in the middle of this emotional storm, what can you actually do to protect yourself, to protect your mental health? Let's get into some real, actionable strategies.
Our source lays out 5 really clear faith-based strategies. We've already talked about number 1, acknowledging the struggle, but the others are just as key. Talking to people who get it while setting firm boundaries, like saying no to a baby shower if it's just too painful. Then there's finding people who can pray with you, and the super practical step of limiting triggers, like maybe deleting those pregnancy apps if they're causing more stress than good. But I want to zoom in for a second on that third strategy, because our source says it can be a total game changer.
Journaling. The source calls it a mental offload, and specifically an offload to God. The idea is to just write down everything you're feeling, like you're writing a letter. And the thinking is that in a situation where peace feels absolutely impossible, this practice can actually invite in a peace that passes all understanding. A supernatural kind of calm right in the middle of the chaos.
So far, we've really been focused on one person's experience, but there is a massive, often overlooked part of this story. This whole journey, it isn't a solo mission. Your partner, your husband, he is right there in the thick of it with you, even if he experiences it and shows it in a totally different way.
It's a shared pressure, but man, it can show up so differently. For her, it can feel like her whole world has shrunk down to just getting pregnant. But for him, the source explains, it's often this intense pressure to perform, which can lead to these deep feelings of inadequacy, like he's failing somehow. Both of those are incredibly heavy burdens to carry alone.
So the most important thing to take away here is that you have to unite as a team. The advice is so simple but so powerful. Talk about it. Pray together. And yeah, even cry together. When you share the highs and the lows, you make sure that when one of you is feeling down, the other one is strong enough to help pull them back up. It's all about stopping that pressure from driving a wedge between you.
And if you ever doubt for a second how deeply men feel this, our source shared this short but super vivid story. A man found out his wife was finally pregnant, and he was so overcome with joy that he literally just dropped and rolled on the floor in muddy water. It's such a powerful image, and it just makes you wonder, how much weight and anxiety was he carrying around before he had that moment of release?
At the end of the day, the core message really comes full circle back to faith. This quote sums it up perfectly. The God of the good time is the God in the bad time. It's this encouragement that you are not walking through this hard season by yourself.
So if you only take one single thing away from all of this, please let it be this reminder. You are not alone. Even when it feels like you are, even when the disappointment is just overwhelming, the message from our source is solid. God is with you, right there in the middle of the situation, right now.
And so, we're going to leave you with this final thought to really reflect on. This whole journey is a search for something, right? But maybe the deepest search isn't just for a child, but for some kind of peace within the storm. In a situation that feels completely chaotic, how can you find a peace that truly does pass all understanding?